Hey everybody, welcome to part one of my Kill Team Typhon reviews today. If you are not in the Kill Team ecosystem and you don't know what this is a Warhammer 40,000 product. It is a parallel game to the Warhammer 40,000 main game, which is a mass combat game. It's a skirmish game, and this is the most recent but new format again, and I'm gonna call it play set that goes along with it. It introduces two new kill teams in the form of a Adeptus Mechanicus kill team of servitors and their Biologus Magus, and some Ravagers, who are a large bioorganism on the Tyranid hive fleets that burrow underground and pop out from little tunnels, which is very cool. But more importantly, and almost more interestingly, this new format kill team provides us with a third set of cards for NPOs. This is a fully playable solo and cooperative adventure, which takes place trying to hunt the Tyranid hive fleet and provides you with all of the terrain that you need to turn your kill team Volkus starter set, which is compatible with, into a infested Tyranid sort of like war zone. So along with these 5 beautiful Ravagers, you also get 10 Termagants, which are, sorry, Hormagants rather, the stabby ones, which are new model kits designed specifically to go along as NPOs with the NPO card set. So these are 2 playable kill teams. These are NPO Typhon models, but any of the models that came in the Leviathan starter set can also be used. Termagants, Von Ryan's Leapers, and the Blast Bugs. I can't remember what they're called. I painted one up. Can also be used as well. So what's really cool about this box is it's fully compatible with the Leviathan box set as almost like an RPG module for playing through some narrative games of Kill Team. First time they've done this, I'm extremely excited about it. Way back at the beginning of 40K Kill Team, this was the like thing I was asking for. This was the like, please, yes, I would like this. And you can play this with a scan of the free kill team rules. So you could conceivably play this as a starter set. There is no rule book in here though. Instead you get all the miniatures. It is clearly designed to be compatible with Volkus before anything else. You can see I've already rifled through this. We got our kill team cards, which you'll see in a separate video. We got our model kits, 2 frames of these big, huge Tyranid Gribblies. So the different spore vents and spires. I'm actually really excited to build and paint this stuff. To play through the adventures, which you'll be seeing on this new channel, because you're watching this on a new channel today, right? And then, yeah, my Ravagers, because I'm going to paint the Tyranid half of this first, obviously, so that I can have an adventure with a cooler bunch than like Techno Zombies. I don't want to play through this in Techno Zombies. I'm bringing Space Marines, baby! And then, of course, this, which will be probably kit-bashed into oblivion by the Inquisimunda #28 crowd. I will say, people know that this is like the gold standard. I'm not gonna pull one out right now. The gold standard in box lids is the Horus Heresy last starter set box lid. This is of like, I would say this is like a 10% as good as that box. It comes in some flimsy paper, and that's what you're really here for, is the cardboard reviews for the boxes. But if you store models while you're painting them in boxes like I do, it can be relatively important. Not a lot of assembly instructions, but they do come in an A5 book, which I found kind of interesting today. And this terrain itself is pretty self-explanatory. The most that you're going to have to do is put some halves together across the 2 sides. And if you can't figure that stuff out, I would be very surprised. There are some accessories to make your Raveners, all the various different types of subclasses, so like the little prime. And then like the little specialist types with their weird acid spitty thing and bug eyes, all the different evolutions they've been through to make them various types of hunters. So you're gonna wanna make at least one of each of these guys so that you have all the various options available to you when you play the game. And they do look relatively different, so I think it's probably important to follow the guide for that. The zombies be zombies, and that's a whole other thing. But you get this cool tech priest, techno-archaeologist, and his buddy, the underseer, not overseer, kind of his Malachant, if you will. And then you get some gun servitors, and you get the basic like little, we just have like a blast pistol servitor. And then you get one servitor that acts as a medic, little sawbones to put the other servitors back together. But I mean, it's a cool box. Finally, we have like a whole servitor army. If this was like 2nd edition 40K, I'd be really excited about that. And I'm excited to build and paint them at some point. It's hard to get excited about a bunch of like lobotomized dudes enslaved by a techno overlord. So this part of the review, we're gonna have 3 parts to the review today. This part of the review is gonna focus on the model kits, just a little unboxing like we just did, and then on the NPOs and the storyline stuff. So if you're gonna wanna watch, you can click ahead in the cards and you can go see the reviews of the 2 new kill teams, but we're gonna focus on what this box is as far as being a narrative supplement. We do get our cool, this is like I've like kind of like big upped this thing before. I love these little sleeves that all the books and components come in now. Whoever designed this at Workshop, take your flowers. Packaging is important. It gets our toys to us. They're shipped from all over the world from the UK, and getting them to us in one piece without like having all the tokens fall out and be loose, having these models get like crunched and broken off their frames. This little sleeve, putting this packaging together with all the cards and the book and stuff, my books come out immaculate now. Like they're just perfect. No dog earring, no marks on them from like the individual model frames like pressing down on them. Way improved since you guys introduced this. So I don't know who in the packaging department in warehousing and shipping logistics designed this little fold, but I love it, and you can even use it for storage later on because it is attractively colored. Keep making those. You did a great job. So we've got our our techno-archaeologist kill team and our Ravener kill team. We have all the tokens for them. So if you haven't done one of these before, these tokens are specifically designed to be adaptable to the kill team that you're playing. So they're not the standard tokens, although you get some standard tokens, you get the plus minus action ones. These are typically things that the kill team themselves require, like your burrowing tokens, that like, you know, will be based on a special rule that your kill team has. I do love that they're doing these base tokens. What they're designed, I think what they're designed for, there's never really an explanation of this. There are some weapons and effects that they allow you, like for instance, there's one of the Vespids has an ability where they fly over you with a flamethrower, and you need to use their base and see what the base touches during a move as it flies over. These little proxy bases can kind of be used for that. The other thing I think they're supposed to be used for is to see if you can finish a move somewhere. So you use them and you place them in a location to see if like your base fits there so that you can finish your move without measuring and moving the model in like ranking position. So use these to like see if you can fit on a ledge or a vantage point, or your model can actually sit somewhere. And sometimes if your model physically can't sit there, so like you've got a weird cape or your sword sticking out, you can put the proxy base up there instead to be like, my guy's up here right now. This is a very common thing in other games like Infinity, but proxy base is gonna be used for all kinds of things, typically when like a model just isn't being convenient to the terrain. And then we've got our book, and most importantly thing we're gonna look at right here is our NPO cards. So I love that they provide us with this. We have our event cards, so there are some random happenings that take place over the course of the game. And every like, the problem with any type of like AI system for a miniature war game is it's never going to surprise you if you have to operate all the time without some type of hidden information. In this, they've done an NPO event deck where you're gonna flip during the turn and have like an event that happens whenever they need to play a strategic gambit. So Synaptic Backlash is one. Lance of chittering neural static forces its way into the brains of those daring enough to confront the will of the hive mind. Select one player operative and roll a d6. If the result is higher than their APL stat, they're -1 APL. If the result is equal to or less, select a different player operative and repeat this process. Basically, you keep going until one of your guys freaks out. otherwise, you know, you're just gonna roll and see if anybody can get infected by the hive mind. This has no effect on player operatives that prevent any kind of psychic rolls, like psychic actions. A birthing sac. Set up one ready NPO with a conceal order as close as possible to a random determined gestation sac train feature. So the train features actually do stuff based on these cards. Voracious, NPO weapons have lethal 5+. Birthing sac, same thing, somebody spawns next to a birthing sac. Sentient barbs. Whenever a player operative would move within 1 inch of a Tyranid infestation train feature, roll a d6 and on 3+ inflicted damage on that operative. Roll once per train feature per activation because the ground starts attacking you. Spore miasma. Whenever an operative is shooting another operative more than 8 inches away, roll an additional defense dice. Lurk. Whenever a player operative is shooting an NPO, reroll one of the defense dice if it's appropriate to the NPO. Whenever a player would strike an NPO, roll 1d6 and on 5+ they must block instead. If it's not possible, then it counts as 2 successes. Overrun, each NPO immediately performs a free charge action up to 3 inches. Each that can't dashes instead. Feed, D3 NPOs immediately perform free fight action. And if none can, draw an event card. And then Typhon event card, Ripper Swarm. If a Ripper Swarm NPO isn't on the kill zone, set one up immediately with a concealer in a location that can be placed in play with an NPO's terrain features. If a wounded Ripper Zone NPO is already in the kill zone, it regains all its last wounds. If you can't do either, draw another event card. So what's cool is if your model collection doesn't let you do something, you just keep drawing event cards until you can. And like I said earlier, we got our Hormagaunts that come in the box, Ripper Swarms, obviously, because they come on the Termagant frame. The Barbgaunt, that's what they're called, the one I just painted up. The Raveners that are in this box, Termagants, which are in the Leviathan box, and Von Ryan Leapers, which are in the Termagant box, or the Leviathan box as well. So once again, if you have the Leviathan starter set, and this is a really clever way of designing these cards, you have everything to play with, all the models that come in here. And so that's my mission, is paint the terrain, paint the Leviathan baddies. And what I'll probably do is I'll do like one of each big guy. So like one Von Ryan's Leaper. I'll do the whole Ravener kill team, obviously. I've already got the one Barbgaunt painted, and then I'll do probably 2 Ripper Swarms, and then maybe 5 of each of the Hormagaunts and Termagants, and that should be a good mix. So there's like different stuff on the table. It's not all the same all the time. But the big guys obviously are way more dangerous than anything else. And then let's look at the actual book. Chi Sigma Septus. These are your servitors, and the inescapable Echo is your evil bad guy kill team here. We've got a beautiful color section and some background stuff about techno-archaeologist Land stepping through the damaged cathedral, looking for info on the Tyranids, history of the Raveners, and then we got a different operative type. So the Prime, the Feltown, the Venom Spitter, the Wrecker, the Tremor Scythe, and the Warrior. So once again, you're gonna see you're making all 5, like you only have 5 in the box, so you're not making any Warriors. You're just making all the Specialists and the Prime. So just be careful that you made sure you did so. And then our kill team rules. So again, I'll go through these individually when we're looking at the the kill teams themselves. And then our missions. That's the focus I want to talk about right now. All right, the Tyranid infestation. It has 2 gestation sacs, 2 shard spear growths, 2 capillary towers, 1 brood nest, 1 underbrood mound, 2 capillary roots, 2 spore vents. It also has 1 additional brood nest or 1 spore chimney, depending on how you construct it for each battle. So you can say your capillary towers can be put on top of the brood nests, right, to make the big guy. This kill zone upgrade allows you to create a Tyranid infestation in your kill zone. The missions in the publication designed around the kill zone upgrade infestation with kill zone Volkus. With a bit of creativity, you can repurpose it to use with other kill zones. And each of the Tyranid infestation trade features are specified here. They don't provide additional rules other than light and heavy, as they're tended to be used with the Gambit cards and NPO stuff, which provide additional rules. So we'll see that when we look at the actual NPO cards. And yeah, it's just heavy or light. So the big guys are heavy and everything else is light, like the spore vents, the shard spear growth, the capillary roots, the gestation sac, the brood nest, and the underbrood mound. And then threat principle. So this is reprinting the stuff that came in the core rulebook if you only have the free rules about how to activate NPOs. So there's some activation priority, and this is the AI system that this works on, which again, the NPO cards kind of add to, which I like. Activation priority here. Multiple NPOs are ready, so the players activate the NPO that can either perform a shoot or fight action, is not in cover from an enemy operative, so they have to run towards cover, or is close to a player. And then setting up NPOs. They must be set up as specified by the mission. If there's multiple valid options, the players set up each NPO so that it's more likely to prevent the players from winning. Within control range of a player operative to better perform a fight action, not a valid target, or better able to perform the charge or shoot action. So when you put somebody down, you have to do the worst case scenario for your active warband. And then fight actions. An NPO performs the fight action with multiple enemy operatives. Within its control range, it fights the enemy that's more likely to incapacitate, is more likely to help players win, and is ready. Now, the one thing they haven't done in here, and I wish they had, when they do the fight action, it doesn't talk about how they apply dice. And this is a thing that's a big nuance, especially when a melee heavy thing is your NPOs, like Tyranids. Are you a berserker or are you a duelist? So basically, a duelist would block until they have the opportunity to strike. A berserker just strikes and takes damage from you, uses all its dice to attack. There could be other variations as well. I wrote some additional rules for Kill Team to kind of even that out, and I have some house rules. When you see me play this, I'll probably classify my guys to make that happen. And then same with shoot action and difficulties. NPO data cards. If you wish, you can use Tyranid miniatures from your collection. This will provide different challenges and increase the replayability of missions in this pack. As optional rules, all players must agree before the game whether the mission tells you to set up an NPO. Randomize which one by rolling a 2d6 and consulting the following table or a table of your own creation. So yeah, so mostly it's going to be Barb Gaunts, Termagants, Hormagaunts, occasionally a Von Lion's Leaper, and then maybe a Ravener. And there's NPO limit. We recommend that the number of NPOs limited in the kill zone is 10. So I love this, and obviously I will be rolling each game, and that's why I want to have like probably 5 of each for the Termagants and Hormagaunts should be fine, because between 4 and 9 is the most common dice roll. A Von Lion's Leaper and a Ravener should be okay. When you see the missions and how many you set up, it will make sense. And then our NPO data cards are going to give us actual like behaviors for all these guys that are different from just run towards me and shoot me. So the Hormagaunts have this NPO will move towards the enemy to fight them, but will see cover on its way. When activated, it can perform either of its first 2 actions during the activation, given an engage order. If it cannot, give it an conceal order. So if it can fight or charge, you engage. If you can't, you reposition and dash, staying in conceal. Ripper Swarms, this NPO will move towards the enemy and fight them, but will seek cover on its way, so same as the Hormagaunt. Barb Gaunts, this NPO will seek an ideal position to shoot the enemy. When activated, it can perform the shoot action during that activation, given an engage order, otherwise it's going to conceal. And then the Ravener, a predatory uniform, it can perform 2 fight actions during its activation. Its behavior, again, will try and move towards cover. They don't do any of their special gimmicks that like disappear, which I wish they did. I really wish if something like, if it had a rule like, if it was near it would move towards a gestation sac or move towards like a one of the terrain features and then try and leave and then come back with more wounds once you hurt it. It is kind of the boss monster in this box set. I feel like you could do a little bit more with it. Termagant, same thing, try and hide or shoot, and then Von Lion's Leaper can perform 2 fight actions. So the Ravener and the Von Lion's Leaper, they don't really get much special except for their weapons, get Scything Talons. Yeah, you could do more with them. Make them a boss creature, make them cooler. Then we get our mission map key for where to put all the terrain, and we get our linked scenarios. So we get Delve the Xenosprawl, where you're trying to spend search drones down into the underground hive. Purge gestation sites, where you're trying to destroy some of the terrain features. Swarm response, you're just trying to survive in your drop zone while stuff attacks you. Pierce the node core, because you've now identified where like the brain is inside this this hive and you want to blow it up. And then Desperate Sacrifice, can you stop the Tyranids from overwhelming the planet? And finally, Encircling Predators, can you get away like Ripley from Aliens? Yeah, and that's it. So like the swarms after you break the mission mode or the node, and then you get some adversary ops. You get a little bit of like head-to-head stuff using the train as well. If you want to play like a competitive mission, you get 4 different map layouts for it, or sorry, 6 different map layouts for it, and how to score and stuff as well. But for the most part, it's you playing on a Tyranid planet head-to-head while Tyranids are also fighting you. So NPOs do exist on the table, which I think is very funny. So yeah, I really love the effort here. I think, I get it. I get what they're doing. They're playing inside the confines of what they've made here. They've had enough time, and this product came out late enough in the development cycle since like the new edition, where I feel like they could have done a little bit more. So if I'm weighing my opinion here, what I like the most about this is the intent to make it a gameplay experience other than just like a competitive paintball match. I think that's great. There's gotta be more brain trust at Games Workshop that can understand how to make a story. Because while there is a narrative to each of these things, there's still too much of an attempt to make it fair. And there's not enough wackiness. It's very clean and well written, but you could have done something way better with the boss monsters. And you could have even just dictated what NPOs show up, saying like, because you have Raveners in this box. So to say that you couldn't at least have the Ravener be the big bad boss at the end of this book, or like a group of Raveners, and like write something special in as far as like what the NPOs that comes out, give it some special weapons, give it a special behavior table, do a little bit more to create the film, the movie feeling of this, have it happen in acts, right? You have to do the heavy lifting in the mission writing because you've cut all the legacy stuff out of Kill Team. There's no more building your base. There's no more having your guys get battle scars and learn skills. That's all in the last edition. You cut it all out of this game. So all of the I care about what's happening to my guys has to happen in this storytelling, and the missions themselves don't go far enough. So it's a great first attempt. All of the product design stuff is great. The terrain is perfect. Having the missions relate to the terrain is perfect. Having this relate to the starter set is perfect. but you could have told a story as opposed to giving me 6 loosely related missions that could apply to anybody, and you gotta play with any kill team, which I appreciate. But you can get, the Tyranids are the bad guys. You can give them a personality. You can have the story be about the villain as opposed to being about the heroes. And then you can insert any heroes you want into that. So yeah, just didn't go too far enough. You could definitely make, maybe 300 extra words worth of rules in this book and have it feel really like something. So while I do think it's great that they've made this effort and they had this playset come out, they've got some ways to go in understanding what solo play and module-based content is. And this feels like maybe it's something that's just brain drained out of the studios at Workshop, because the pedigree of the designers there are more about even casual play and organized play and less about that sitting around the table RPG stuff that drove, early editions of Warhammer 40,000, that drove things like Rogue Trader, 2nd edition, 3rd edition, that drove things like Warhammer Quest and Mordheim. There just isn't the design talent there anymore that has that. But I think they're capable of it. They just need to stop. And this just feels like a little swing at it as opposed to a big swing. And I would have liked to have seen them take a big swing. So yeah, so let's dive into the 2 kill teams then. You can see the other 2 reviews today. Checking out Kill Team Typhon. Big thanks to Workshops for this longer review. And for you guys for watching. Till next time, I'm Ash. I'm